how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. For today's video, I'm super excited to bring you an up-close and personal, in-depth look at the all-new 2016 6th generation Chevrolet Camaro SS. This is going to be a detailed, in-depth review of the Camaro. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip, go over the performance data, take it on a thorough road test, and show you many of the unique aspects of both the interior as well as exterior. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in, start it up, let it run. Our tester's exterior color is known as lemon peel and is paired with an all-black cloth interior part of the 1SS package. It's pretty much the entry model and starts at around $37,395, pretty nicely equipped, and we'll cover all that later in the video. This one also features the optional dual-mode exhaust. To start, make sure you have the key fob within the interior, put your foot on the brake and clutch, then hit the dash mounted button to go. The 2016 Camaro features a variable ratio electrically assisted rack and pinion steering system. It's routed through a new 3-spoke flat-bottom multifunction steering wheel that's shared with the 2016 Corvette Stingray. It appears to be smaller in diameter than the last Camaro and feels great in your hands, especially with the high-quality perforated leather across the sides and grip bolsters at 10 and 2. The SS badging at the bottom spoke, satin chrome brightwork, and accent stitching adds a nice touch. Each of the Camaro's 3 new engine options is available with either a 6-speed manual or an 8-speed automatic transmission. The SS benefits from more robust transmissions to handle the higher output of the LT1 V8. These include the Tremec TR6060 6-speed manual with active rev match as seen in our tester, and the Hydromatic 8L90 8-speed automatic borrowed from the Corvette. Both transmissions send power to the rear wheels through an electronic limited slip differential. The manual features a 3.73 final drive ratio, while the automatic features a 2.77 ratio. Chevrolet claims the 8-speed delivers similar performance to a dual-clutch transmission, along with yielding quicker acceleration times and improved efficiency over the Gen 5 6-speed auto. The 6-speed manual's active rev match feature is easily one of the coolest things I've seen lately. First introduced in the Corvette's 7-speed manual, rev match is engaged by the paddles behind the steering wheel. Labeled rev match, these are the same paddles that would allow you to shift the car manually when equipped with the automatic. Pull on either paddle and the white labeled gear indicator will illuminate orange in the instrument cluster. At this point, all you have to do when downshifting is to depress the clutch and change gears. The car does the rest. No accelerator modulation is required. It emits a prominent throttle blip and maintains the car's velocity. Rev matching is purely for a performance gain, so when activated, downshifting the car will not slow it down. For this reason, I recommend deactivating rev matching if driving on steep grades. I loved the manual. It took a little bit for me to get used to as the clutch isn't exactly linear, featuring a very pronounced grab point. Once you get comfortable with it, you'll really end up enjoying it. The grab point also makes driving in traffic easier as you're able to be more precise with it, quite similar to the Chevrolet SS we recently tested. Shifts are short and precise, transmitting nice feedback through the leather-wrapped shift knob. Behind the shifter is your drive mode select switch, new for 2016, where drivers can toggle between snow, ice, tour, sport, and track, not unlike the system found in the Corvette. Track is specific to the SS. It affects throttle response, steering resistance, and the StabiliTrak system primarily. If you opt for the automatic transmission, it alters the shift map and performance algorithms. The drive modes will even adapt optional features such as the dual-mode exhaust, magnetic ride control, and the interior ambient lighting when equipped. If desired, you can turn off the traction control and activate a competitive mode for track days. Chevrolet is also using an electronic parking brake now to free up some interior room around the center console. So let's go ahead and flip on the automatic LED accented bifunction HID headlamps and the hazards. Both windows are fully automatic. And we'll go ahead and check the exterior. Upon closing the door, the interior will chime a few times to let you know it's lost detection of the proximity key fob. I'll be the first to admit, being a big fan of the classic American muscle car, I almost couldn't contain my excitement when I received my chance to drive the Gen 6 Camaro before it was available to the public. What's even better is the fact that we live in an era where technology and engineering in this class has created more well-rounded and track-focused muscle cars that put a priority on overall dynamism versus simple straight-line acceleration. The all-new 6th generation Camaro is the second newest player in the segment, having been designed from a clean sheet of paper to offer class-leading performance with less weight and greater refinement than its predecessor. I tested out the all-new Mustang earlier this year along with the refreshed Dodge Challenger. Each car offers their own strengths and weaknesses. I don't believe there's a clear-cut choice, as it all boils down to personal preference. I'm a fan of each for different reasons. It's easier to see out of the Mustang, and the Challenger has superior interior room. The Gen 6 Camaro offers less visual nostalgia than the competition, but offers a fresh reinterpretation of iconic styling cues that also takes a lot of inspiration from the Gen 5. For me, the Camaro had more of the essential elements of a proper sports muscle car that never failed to leave a lasting smile on my face. Combined with an incredibly responsive engine, a dynamic chassis, tighter dimensions, and less weight, the Camaro truly has what it takes to run with the best of the best. For the Gen 6, engineers ditched the larger and heavier Zeta platform that was also shared with the Pontiac G8 for the smaller and lighter Alpha platform that provides the basis for the Cadillac ATS and CTS. Around 70% of the architectural components are unique to the Camaro. Compared to a CTS, the Camaro features a 1.6-inch wider front and 1.2-inch wider rear track thanks to modified suspension geometry. The suspension now uses more aluminum and lightweight steel for key components that collectively are about 21% lighter than what you'd find in the Gen 5, reducing unsprung mass by about 26 pounds. Structural rigidity has been boosted by 28% alongside a 133-pound reduction in weight for the body in white. Depending on the model, total curb weight has been reduced between 223 and 390 pounds. This makes for a more nimble and responsive vehicle in corners while improving steering feel. Weight reduction efforts were taken across numerous aspects of the Camaro's structure. For example, an aluminum instrument panel frame helps save 9.2 pounds, while eliminating the excess threads on bolts helped save grams here and there. Weight was the biggest enemy of the Gen 5, so engineers seem to have paid close attention to detail here, and it really shows out on the road. In fact, Chevrolet claims the lighter and stiffer structure allowed the SS to deliver better lap times than the Gen 5's track-focused 1LE performance package. While it may not seem that way from pictures, the Gen 6 Camaro is smaller in every dimensions and maintains similar if not improved interior room. The proportions give it a low, lean, and wide look that's notably more aggressive than before. Overall length, width, height, and wheelbase were reduced by 2.3, 0.8, 1.1, and 1.6 inches respectively. The front and rear tracks are slightly narrower as well, taking up less space in the Gen 5. Despite familiar exterior styling, only a couple emblems carry over. Everything else has been tweaked, sculpted, and redefined to ensure every aspect of the new car's design was done to make this the most aerodynamic Camaro to date, with more efficient cooling where necessary. It still maintains a long hood, broad shoulders, and a fastback profile that over 500,000 customers have come to enjoy since 2010. The menacing fascia is dominated by a new cross-car grille that meets with slender headlamps. LED-accented HID projector headlamps and LED tail lamps are standard on the Camaro RS and SS, along with LED daytime running lamps. Similar to what you would find in the new Mustang, the lower front fascia features air curtains, which help channel air around the wheels rather than through the wheel wells to reduce turbulence and subsequent drag. The SS also has a unique front clip compared to the rest of the lineup, featuring dedicated brake cooling ducts and functional heat extractor vents on the hood for greater cooling and reduced front-end lift. The roof panel is also quite cool, sculpted in a way that it dips down in the middle, sort of like the double bubble roofline of the Dodge Viper. The roof is now laser brazed for greater structural rigidity and improved fit and finish. The SS features a unique spoiler on the trunk lid. The red, white, and blue banner emblems on the fenders add the perfect finishing touch. The SS comes standard with 20-inch aluminum alloy wheels that are 6 ounces lighter and half an inch wider than previous designs, increasing the contact patch with the road and reducing unsprung mass. They're 8.5 inches wide in front, 9.5 inches wide in the rear. Helping the SS hold up to 0.97 G of lateral acceleration are a set of Goodyear Eagle F1 run-flat summer-only tires, two 45/40s in front and two 75/35s in the rear. Multiple wheel styles will be available, including our Tester's 5-spoke satin black alloys. The SS uses beefy Brembo brakes for greater stopping power. The internally ventilated discs measure 13.6 inches in front and 13.3 inches in the rear, with 4 piston fixed calipers at each corner. With this setup, the SS is able to stop from 60 miles an hour in as little as 117 feet. I believe the V6 will also be offered with the Brembos at the customer's request. Supporting the Camaro's new chassis is a redesigned multi-link McPherson strut front suspension with Camaro-specific geometry. Through tight corners, the Camaro felt especially agile and responsive when compared to its predecessor, along with more linear and communicative steering. It brings the fight right to the new Mustang's doorstep. At the rear, you'll find a new 5-link independent suspension that's been tuned for reduced squat during acceleration. Unlike the front links, the rears are still made of steel but now feature lightning holes. While previously limited to the ZL1, magnetic ride control is also a new option for the SS. The adaptive suspension monitors road and driving conditions 1,000 times per second, adjusting the damper settings to firm or soften the ride based on the drive mode. Our tester didn't come with MRC, but it still exhibited excellent road manners nonetheless. It's sports car stiff and always felt glued to the pavement. You certainly feel all the bumps, but it's just enough that you know what's happening. The fixed damping did a great job of keeping things relatively smooth. Overall length is 188.3 inches with a width of 74.7 inches and a height of 53.1 inches. Wheelbase is 110.7 inches and a total curb weight for our 1SS tester is around 3,685 pounds. The Gen 6 Camaro benefits from 6 all-new powertrain combinations: a 275 horsepower 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, a 335 horsepower 3.6-liter V6, and a 455 horsepower 6.2-liter LT1 V8. Each is available with your choice of 6-speed manual or 8-speed automatic transmission. We'll cover the 4-cylinder and V6 in separate videos later on, so today let's focus on the V8. The LT1 is derived from the new Corvette Stingray and delivers a wealth of power, response, and efficiency. While many elements are carried over from the Corvette, about 20% of the components are unique to the Camaro, including its tubular tri-wide type exhaust manifolds. Its 455 horsepower is developed at 6,000 RPM, accompanied by 455 pound-feet of torque at 4,400 RPM, making it the most powerful SS to ever roll out of the factory. Output is pretty much identical to the Corvette. The biggest difference is that the Camaro's peak torque is developed at 200 fewer RPM to give it extra grunt off the line at the expense of 5 pound-feet. Chevrolet estimates a 0 to 60 time of 4 seconds for the automatic and 4.3 seconds for the manual, with a quarter-mile time as low as 12.3 seconds while traveling at 116 miles an hour, effectively making it the quickest Camaro SS ever. I'd estimate top speed to be between 160 and 170 miles an hour. It's an all-aluminum overhead valve pushrod engine that features cast-in-place iron bore liners and 2 valves per cylinder. Variable valve timing, direct fuel injection, and active fuel management on automatic cars are 3 new additions that help boost performance and efficiency. The compression ratio is rated at 11.5 to 1 alongside a 6,500 RPM redline. The SS also features additional radiators to maintain cool temperatures for the differential, transmission, and engine oil. With the SS's active rev match feature on the manual transmission, it offers an extra degree of entertainment and performance with automatic blips on downshifts. Of course, as we discussed earlier, it can be turned off if you prefer to rev match yourself. Our tester is equipped with the optional dual-mode exhaust system, which is around a $900 option. It's also available for the V6 and features vacuum-controlled valves that bypass the mufflers under harder acceleration. With mechanical sound enhancers within the cabin, it bellows and snarls much louder than the Mustang GT or Challenger RT I tested. I didn't get a chance to hear a standard SS exhaust, but this seemed well worth the extra cost for how much sound it delivered. Plus, I love the unique quad-polished tips. The sound can be tailored through the drive modes for more stealth or full-on aggression. The active exhaust won't be available in the 4-cylinder, but like the Mustang EcoBoost, that'll feature electronic sound enhancement when equipped with the Bose audio system. It can be turned on and off based on the driver's preference. The EPA rated the Gen 5 Camaro SS between 16 miles to a gallon in the city and 25 on the highway. Considering the LT1's impressive economy in the Corvette, I imagine the Gen 6 to improve slightly. Premium fuel is recommended for maximum performance. The Camaro's biggest leaps and bounds, aside from its driving behavior, lie with the redesigned interior that combines greater level of refinement and premium elements than any Camaro before it. Like the Mustang, you can outfit the car however you like with a variety of interior color options and features to suit your personality. Our tester is a 1SS, which is more or less the entry model V8. The quality is very similar to the Mustang in the fact that the standard cars lack some of the nicer elements that you'll find in a GT Premium or 2SS. Stepping up to the higher trims gets you a wealth of added soft touch elements across the upper doors, knee pads or the center console, and high quality perforated leather seating with heating and cooling functions. The standard cars also have padded material across the midsection and armrest. The interior feels solid and very well put together. Our tester features full power adjustment for the driver and passenger. The only thing it's missing is some form of adjustable lumbar, which would have been nice on longer drives, but still they're very comfortable seats. There's a lot of bolstering up top and down below to keep you hugged in around the corners, and there's an adjustable headrest. I also like the added detailing with the gray accent stitching and color band on the backrest. The interior is very driver focused, everything is within easy reach, there's good ergonomics, and even some clever solutions we'll talk about in just a bit. Your power windows, locks, and mirrors are located on the driver's door, and you have a little bit of storage in the bottom of the door panels. I love the new styling of the dash. There's added soft touch material on the right hand side portion, and all of the large circular air vents kind of give an aircraft inspired feel. Despite the shrunken exterior dimensions, I think the overall interior space for the Gen 6 has been pretty well maintained, if not improved upon slightly compared to the Gen 5 with more efficient use of space. The Mustang still has a more airy, open-feeling interior, especially with the added glass, but I like the intimacy that the Camaro brings. It's very unique and sets this model apart. Continuing through the rest of the interior, you see the sweeping curves in the dash blend seamlessly into the door panels. You have logo door sill entry guards that I believe are finished in aluminum in the 2SS. A manual tilt telescoping steering wheel is standard. There's a plethora of airbags throughout, including a driver and passenger side knee airbag. Plenty of satin chrome bright work throughout, and I love the dash styling, very clean and minimalistic. Finished off with a black headliner, and a sunroof is available. So now let's go ahead and demonstrate the multi-mode exhaust system and see how it sounds both sitting still and on the road. So first in touring, which is basically the stealth mode for the exhaust. Now we'll go ahead and open it up, put it in track mode. So let's go ahead and shut her up. Our 1SS tester features the entry-level audio system that actually sounds pretty good, but a Bose system is also available for a more premium audio experience. It's all routed through Chevrolet's MyLink infotainment system with 8-inch high-res color touchscreen display. Up top, there's side curtain airbags, padded visors with LED illuminated vanity mirrors. The 1SS comes standard with a manually dimming rearview mirror instead of an auto dimming, but it still has the elegant frameless design as the rest of them. Touch-sensitive OnStar controls and LED reading lamps up top. So the way Chevrolet engineers designed the climate control system is probably one of my favorite interior aspects. It's very clean, less buttons than before, so instead of using buttons to change the temperature and fan speed, you actually grab the big silver wheel around the center air vent and rotate it. So on the right you have your fan speed, on the left you have your temperature adjustments. And whenever you make an adjustment, they show up within the MyLink system. Heated and ventilated seats are available when you opt for the leather interior, and that would be located right there. Otherwise, you have the power button for the climate control system, front and rear defrost, and different zones up top. Continuing on back, a pretty slender center console thanks to the electronic parking brake, the different drive modes, and traction control like we talked about earlier. You have a 12-volt power outlet there, 2 cup holders, and a pretty decent-sized center console. I like this padded armrest right here with the accent stitching. Open it up, locks in place, has a curved container that also houses your media inputs. So the 2016 Camaro features the latest generation of Chevrolet's MyLink infotainment system, and it differs in a key way versus the previous MyLinks in the fact that it has a capacitive touch display like the Cadillac Q system. So like a smartphone or a tablet, you don't actually have to press into the screen, just simply tap it. Makes it a little bit easier to get around the menus. Like before, it combines the simple app-style fashion like your typical iPhone, but it also incorporates 4G LTE connectivity as well as Apple CarPlay. I currently have my iPhone plugged into the system, and this is pretty cool. I've never heard of this. I mean, I've heard of this before, but I've never seen it actually used. So basically, when you connect your iPhone, it actually routes your essential apps and functions to this, including messaging. So you have this little icon down below here, just like on the phone at the very bottom. You tap that, and it brings you back to the home menu. It also shows the cell signal to the left, so that's definitely pretty cool. This particular vehicle is a 1SS and does not come with navigation, even though through the OnStar concierge services you can have navigation directions beamed to the system, but with Apple CarPlay you can actually use the phone's built-in navigation like you can see here. I just think that's so cool. I know Apple CarPlay isn't specific to Chevrolet, but it's just another pretty neat way of how you can integrate your smartphone safely and everything, so you can kind of keep connected with everything that's going on. But just a quick run through of everything. Of course, you have standard satellite radio, iPod auxiliary, USB integration, Bluetooth telephone, Bluetooth streaming of audio, and I've gone through this in other previous Chevrolet and other GM vehicles, so you can check out those videos if you want to see it a little bit more in depth. Radio presets down below here, going between different radio modes, media modes, browse the device. In the top, there's also some shortcuts, again for your audio, telephone, navigation, and the Apple CarPlay system. Back to your home menu, Bluetooth telephone, the OnStar navigation like I talked about earlier, and we actually used it. It's definitely pretty cool. It's interesting actually having somebody on the phone looking for a hotel and stuff. Pretty convenient, especially when you're going 70 miles an hour down the highway and you don't want to fiddle with your phone. But it incorporates other smartphone-like technology as well, including the swiping, pinching, all that kind of stuff depending on which menu that you're in. All in all, it just takes a second to play with all the settings and features, but it's a very, very user-friendly interface, especially if you're already familiar with a smartphone. I know it's probably hard to see in the daytime, but there's also some ambient lighting on top of the infotainment system right here and on the back side, so it provides a pretty cool, like an off-white color at night. There's also some other ambient lighting, like programmable different colors and stuff when you step up to the 2SS. The controls across the steering wheel are pretty self-explanatory. To the left-hand side, you have your cruise control. To the right-hand side, driver information system, hands-free telephone and voice commands, and radio controls on either side of the bottom. Of course, you can play with all the various settings when you're actually checking out the car in person, but on the info screen, you have a digitalized speedometer, trip computer, fuel data, tire pressure monitoring system, This interior design is just awesome. I loved the 5th generation interior. I thought it was a cool retro futuristic style or so, but this is a really nice evolution of that. Obviously with the 2 SS, other higher quality trim packages, you get more soft touch material across the doors. It's still better than last generation, but the standard one is pretty much what you would expect for the base car. I like the added soft touch material across the dash here with the stitched accenting, and it's cool. It's a very driver focused environment, so you have the dash that curves around, blends into the doors right here. Everything is very easy to reach, ergonomic shifter placement, very nice. Alrighty. We'll go ahead and shut her down and check out the back seat. So now let's go ahead and hop in the back seat. To gain access, you simply pull up on this little handle right here and then use the power adjustments to go ahead and slide the seat forward. That goes the same for both the driver and passenger side seat. So not too long ago, I got to check out the new Ford Mustang GT and EcoBoost, so I was pretty excited to do this comparison. The back seat, upon initial examination, doesn't seem that much different as far as its overall capacity for humans. One thing definitely doesn't change. There's no seatbelt catch for either the Camaro or the Mustang. I found the best practice if you're going to be climbing into the back seat to go ahead and just pull the seatbelt out a little here, wrap it around the passenger side headrest, so all you have to do is just slide in under it and hop in the back. So first things first, interior room, there's not that much, but the Camaro has never really had a ton of interior room in the back seat. Same goes for the Mustang. It's nice that it's here, and you can definitely use it depending on how much legroom you want up front. Shorter individuals, children, definitely. People of my height, around 5'10", it's pretty cramped back here. I would not recommend sitting back here for a long period of time. My head, in a normal seating position, for my head is off to the left or the right, or I have to kind of get a hunch to look straight forward. But it's still very comfortable. I mean, despite the lack of interior room, this is a nice back seat. Just like the Mustang, kind of a bucket style configuration. It sits down nice and low. There's good padding. I love the accent gray portions and the stitching. Just, it looks really nice. There's a storage tray back here, which otherwise in higher trim levels of the Camaro, you actually have a wireless phone charger dock back here, or not a dock, a wireless phone charging tray. So that's pretty cool. There's also armrests across the doors here, side curtain airbags. Overall visibility is decent. It seems better than the last gen Camaro, which is definitely a plus. The C-pillar is still on the big side, but I like these little quarter windows right here. And with the backup camera and the tidy dimensions of the car, I haven't had a problem as far as blind spots or anything like that. So definitely thumbs up as far as that's concerned. There's child seat anchors back here, and we'll talk about this more when we get to the trunk portion, but if you grab this middle strap right here, you can fold down the entire portion so you can load cargo all the way up to the front for better practicality. So let's go ahead and check out cargo space up back. The Camaro has never been known as a super practical vehicle as far as cargo space is concerned, but it's still more than enough for 2 people on an extended road trip. Your biggest hindrance is going to be the opening when it comes to larger, bulky items, but once you get stuff stored inside, it's actually a pretty deep storage well. Of course, for extra practicality, like we talked about earlier, you can fold the one-piece backrest in the rear seat to expand the cargo space all the way to the front. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look into the all-new 2016 Chevrolet Camaro SS. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's always a lot more where that came from. Take care guys.